Hey guys, it's Matt. I was checking on Duluth and Dubuque. One of those will probably become a not milk free zone one day, just to make sure they're all right. I came across this. People will get on me for covering a news story. Screen exercise. This is funny as shit. This is we'll make fun of it. It's very revealing. Also, it's very revealing about what the Fed is. The people won't get it. But we've known this for 15 or 20 years. I know. We have to look at this. This is just too good. Trump says he has fired Fed Governor Lisa Cook. She says he has no authority to fire her. He doesn't, of course. Matt, we know this stuff about the Fed. I know. Let's just get into it. I mean, it's a completely separate entity that runs that the Fed runs the government. It's not the other way around. I'm sorry. Hillary Clinton. Now, Lisa Cook, that Trump's trying to fire, is a Fed governor, of which there's 7, including the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Apparently, the chairman now is this clown Jerome Powell. I've never heard of him. I've never seen him before. To me, it was still Janet Yellen. That was Boris Yeltsin. Janet Yeltsin. I thought it was Alan Greenspan. I don't keep up with this shit. Look at the picture on the top right. It's like some sort of Ron Paul doppelganger or something. Is Ron Paul still alive? Nobody dies off in this reality. Is Warren Buffett still driving like an old car to work? Is he? I'm not. Nobody dies off. It's just except regular people. If you're on that side of the river, I don't know. They're getting these injectables or something. Jerome Powell. And guys, I'm sure a lot of you would agree. A lot of the old guard agrees. If you see their mug on television or they approach a podium or give a commencement speech like Rodney Dangerfield in Back to School to Stanford University, they don't really run anything. They might have a degree of clout. But you think these clowns like Jerome Powell and Lisa Cook, you think they really decide where the trillions should be injected? Well, in the old days, it was people in the shadows, in my opinion. Now it's AI anyway. I mean, it doesn't matter because the AI injectables happen automatically. Billions here, billions there, where it's needed, within a millisecond of when it's needed. So I guess you could just put up anybody. You could put up Bozo the Clown, or what was I was thinking of that old Why did I think about the old Happy Days episode? Where was it? Richie, Cunning. Richie was going to expose the true identity of Clarabelle. How the heck did that just pop into my mind? Guys, let me insert this for a minute. The fake world always has to make an appearance, even when I'm trying to be very recitative in presenting a news story. I went over to find that image which you just saw about Richie exposing Clarabelle, and there were other images of the opening of Happy, and I went, oh no. Reality has converted the opening of Happy Days to the magenta paired with the emerald green. What the heck? Monday, Tuesday, happy. To me, was it like this originally? No. The reality works overtime to convert as many things in the digital world as possible over to the magenta. And whenever I compare it with the emerald green, it will do so. I don't think it was like this originally. Although someone might say, I remember it. It always was like that. You'd be right. Because it works like a Mandela effect. It has always been like that, but there was a change that was retroactive through time. Don't you understand how that works? It's simple. It has always been like that, yet there was a change. I don't care if you understand what I'm saying or not. Reality is converted the Monday, Tuesday, Happy Days over to the magenta and emerald green. Really? I'm trying to present a recitative news story here, and the fake reality always has to make an appearance. Sorry about that little reality interlude. Let's get back to the fake news story and just pretend that it's real. People will get on me, like I alluded to earlier, for any sort of thing that's not your spiritual being. And there's a bad guy here that's trying to block your spiritual path. And there's really no shape of the earth. It's really whatever you want it to be. The fake reality will become a conspiracy generation machine. I can't do that every single video. My reality is a half page. I just come out here like the girl from Progressive, the girl that complains, and you're a spiritual being. There's a bad guy here trying to block you. I can't do that every time. It's simple. This reality's simple. We have to do this shit. We have to make fun of this and not milk, okay? I can't say that every single time in every single video. The trolls use that to get on me, those trolls. So back to making fun of this. Of course, she won't go anywhere. Trump says he fired her, And the message to the people that nobody will get except us, she won't go anywhere. She won't leave her position, which means that nobody in the government has the ability to do anything to the Fed because the Fed runs the government. That's the message that the Not Milk needs to put out here. And even if they made it look good and she went away to David Bowie Island or somewhere else, I mean, they still don't have the authority. But the Not Milk wants to get this message out, but reading between the lines that she won't go anywhere. So it will show the people, which only we will notice, of course, that the government or even the president has no authority over the Fed. And I know Alan Greenspan said it 18 years ago. I know when we were doing all that first grade truth stuff. So it's just, obviously, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. If this wasn't very funny as we got into it, there'll be some real laughs coming up, no doubt about it. But that's the message, that it wants to reiterate, whatever that means, to the people, that the Fed doesn't account or isn't accountable to anyone, even the President of the United States. Now, we clearly see that message. The people around us won't, but it doesn't matter. From the Not Milk's perspective, all they have to do is float the information. So Trump has said, Lisa Cook, in official, say, White House correspondence, however they fire people, Lisa Cook, just like Trump in The Apprentice, you're fired. And you know what? Lisa Cook, in her official reply back, said, I'm fired? Flunk me. That's what Ronnie said. Flunk you. The back to school still in my mind. Lisa said, I'm fired? Sucker? You're fired because I'm the Fed. I control your ass, sucker. Guys, 30 seconds or less. That got me thinking about this movie. I've never seen it. I'm being completely rusted here. Has anybody seen I'm Gonna Git, G-I-T, Get You Sucka? I'm putting a whole movie list together, things that I've never seen because there hasn't been any good movies in the last 20 years. I've got like 70 movies on this list. I mean, and I always thought, is this movie funny or has anybody seen it? And it's a Mandela effect to some people. Like, I'm gonna get you, sucker. What's the GIT? Who would ever decide to put that in the title? I'm gonna get you, sucker. But I'm honestly asking, forget the Mandela effect. Has anybody seen it, and should I put it on my list? Okay, let's finish up with this fake news story. I'm sure it'll be just a few minutes, and there'll be a few laughs here, no doubt, and then we'll move on to something else. President Donald Trump on Monday said he has fired Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, according to a letter addressed to her posted on his social media. The first instance of a president firing a central bank governor in the central bank's 111-year history. It just can't help itself. The unprecedented move represents a significant escalation of the president's battle against the Fed, which is blamed for taking too long to lower interest rates. But Cook said the president doesn't have the authority to fire her and that she plans to continue in her post. Well, of course, she doesn't. The message will be that the Fed is, of course, higher than the presidency because she won't go anywhere. Cook, I thought there'd be a few laughs, so nothing so far. Sorry, guys. Cook has recently come under fire by Trump and members of his administration for allegedly committing mortgage fraud. Mortgage fraud? What? She's a Fed governor. She can push trillions around at just the push of a button or by asking the AI, the Treasury Siri, the Justice Department. Don't say, does anybody want to tell me the Treasury's separate from the oh, come on, please don't do that. The Justice Department has said it plans to investigate those allegations, first raised by Federal Housing Finance Director Bill Pulte. Cook has not been charged with any wrong. What mortgage fraud? I have to look at this for just a second. Give me a break. A CNN review of mortgage documents showed that Cook took out mortgages for 2 properties, both of which were listed as her principal residence. However, it's not known why she did so, or if she did so intentionally. Oh, she has a principal residence like in Baltimore, and she's, we're going to buy that second home in Fort Lauderdale? Oh, put it down as our primary place of residence, then we can save on the taxes. I can push our taxes through the state of Florida, which are lower than Maryland. Oh, really? So through her Treasury and Fed Siri, she can push trillions of dollars around the world and do injectables of hundreds of billions here, and she had to take out a mortgage. Why would she even need even need a mortgage? Matt, these aren't the real Fed people. Lisa Cook is an upfront stooge for the cameras. Okay, that's likely, but still, she works for the Fed. She could only put. We gonna get that second home in Fort Lauderdale. You're a Fed governor. Oh, I can put 5% down. Don't you have any more than that? You're a Fed governor. You could push trillions around the world at the push of a button. Well, I can only put 5% down. We're gonna have to take out 2 mortgages, but put them both as our primary residence so we can save on the taxes. Oh my God. Not milk. Stop insulting our intelligence. With the not milk, there's the story that they give the proletariat via CNN or give the great unwashed through the BBC. And then there's the real story that you can only get if you read between the lines. But only our group is the only ones capable of doing that. Not just this channel, but say truth researchers in general. We can kind of read between the lines to see what they're really getting at. Everybody else is just on the ship of fools. They're completely gone. They take every word at face value. Just idiots on the ship of fools. But here's my first takeaway is, see, if this Lisa Cook needs 2 mortgages, she can push trillions around the world, but she don't have enough money to buy a house herself. She can only put 5% down. The other one's interest only. It's an interest only mortgage. She didn't put a penny down. She's not really a Fed governor, I would say. If she don't have enough money to buy a house, or she didn't even pay off her first house yet. That's where the paperwork troubles came in. To me, she's probably not a real Fed governor. Probably an upfront stooge or somebody to take a podium or to give a commencement address or to get in front of a camera. See, that's what it's telling me. Because I would think if she's really a Fed governor, I would think she'd be able to have her first house paid off and be able to buy a second house. And even a third house, even if her regular salary or whatever they pay her, assuming the paperwork was out in the open, was legitimate. But she needs 2 mortgages. That means she's not really a Fed governor, folks. That's my first takeaway. So President Trump writes to her, quote, "In light of your deceitful and potentially criminal conduct in a financial matter, I do not have such confidence in your integrity. I do not have such confidence." President Trump, did you ever take an English class in high school? Just get the bot to write for you. What is this shit? At a minimum, the conduct at issue exhibits the sort of gross negligence in financial transactions that calls into question your competence and trustworthiness as a financial regulator. Trump added in his letter. Again, if Trump really wrote this, he didn't even get past 9th grade English. This is not, I know it's all bot stuff. The bot writes worse than even a middle school kid. Every time we look at bot writing, there's mistakes. It's riddled with mistakes. The President of the United States shouldn't use it. This is not DOJ opening anything. They haven't charged her. Of course not. They can't. She's part of the Fed, even if she is a stooge. So as of right now, I think it's kind of questionable for cause. Former federal prosecutor Shan Wu. Shan Wu? What the hell was that? Shang-Chi. Anybody see that Marvel movie? Told CNN's Brianna Keilar, referring to the Department of Justice, it's definitely going to get litigated. Now, of course, guys, there's 2 ways this can go. The last sentence says it's definitely going to get litigated. Either way it goes, we're right, because the not milk wins either way in the message that it wants to put forth. Okay, let's just say she is litigated, found that there was a financial wrongdoing by listing 2 addresses as primary for whatever tax evasion or fraud she was trying to put forth, and she's actually fined or goes to jail, and it is litigated. It's just covering up the fact that the Fed runs everything and the Fed is above the law and the Fed runs the government. It's showing the people that, no, don't listen to these conspiracy people. See, we just prosecuted and charged somebody that works for the Fed. The government is in charge. So they get that if they actually litigate it and actually convict her. In my opinion, what's going to happen is nothing's going to happen. She will remain as a Fed governor. Nothing will happen. And the message, of course, delivered is the more likely message is just to reiterate or to remind the people, because it has to tell the truth, that the Fed is above the law. It doesn't matter if she made financial mistakes on her paperwork or listed 27 homes as primary addresses. The Fed does not answer to the government, the president, or its laws. That's, to me, the message, the more likely message that they have to drop and remind people about from time to time. So because the one of the rules of this reality seems to be that they will have to tell you what's really happening if you pay attention, that's more likely. Although if she's litigated, it'll just, again, is there anybody listening to me that thinks somebody working for the Fed can be charged by somebody working for the government or the Department of Justice? That would be just to make it look good. But I don't typically do business like that at this level. They're just going to show people that the Fed's above the law, and it'll all go away. And once the NFL starts in a few days, no one will care anyway. So that's more likely. Either way, the not milk wins. Either way, this is a contrived and completely fabricated news story, and it is just meant for the not milk to deliver that message. And of course, imagine what anybody on the Ship of Fools would say if they listened to this crazy presentation. Here's a headline related to what we talked about Friday in the fake economy. Trump is crowing about his tariffs reducing the debt by $4 trillion. But there are caveats. Guys, one of the things I didn't mention on Friday is every single number has been made up for a long, long time. Every single number is made up. The numbers, these statistics and numbers are released to the public. Why would anybody believe they're real or legitimate, whether it be the inflation number? I mean, they can juggle around their little basket of goods however they want to arrive at whatever inflation number they want. Gasoline's in the basket of goods with a basket of goods. Well, then take gasoline out of its shot up and put in a banana. Oh, a banana just shot up? Well, take the banana out and put in a whale turd. A whale turd. That didn't go up in price. That went down in price. So they can put in whatever they want. The same with the national debt. You look at the debt clock and it just ticks away and chugs away. The debt clock, tick, 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 tick. You can see it going hundreds of thousands of dollars a second, growing. Why should any number they give us be believed? If it's 35 trillion, maybe it's 150 trillion, the total debt. They can turn around and show you some number that it went from 37 trillion to down to 32 trillion, whatever. It will probably pin it back to 33 trillion. Well, why would that number be believed? Why would anybody believe it? They could just change the number without changing anything in the economy. These numbers, these statistics are completely pointless, useless. He could say, oh, we win. Then look at the debt now, it's reduced. How would anybody know what's behind the numbers at this point? Since Nixon, how would anybody know what's behind the numbers? People believe it all, whatever government indicator, the economic indicators. Trump could come forth and say, we did it. Look at the debt. Here's the number, 32 trillion. Well, it's just a number. I guess I'm being a little repetitive. There's no way anybody can see behind the scenes to see if they really did anything. And the main point here is the debt can't be reduced. The economy needs to grow or the entire thing collapses. Remember that the train track needs to be laid continually in front of the runaway train down the hill with no brakes. The only way to grow the economy is through more debt. A debt instrument is necessary to create new dollars in the economy. New growth has to come from a debt instrument. It has to come from a mortgage. It has to come from a business loan. A new dollar has to be associated initially with a form of debt, whether it be a mortgage, a car loan, or whatever. The debt can't be reduced, or it's like taking the track out from underneath the runaway train. I mean, this is not a conspiracy theory. This is common sense that everyone should know at this point, yet they have kept this covered up. Well, the ship of people on the Ship of Fools will never even care to understand it. Whatever, Trump could come and say we reduced the debt to 5 trillion from 37, and his supporters at least would believe it. And Trump did this, Trump did that. Trump made us energy independent. It's all made up. He can say whatever they want. It was very early on in the Obama administration when I was just getting into the type of truth that we investigate now. 2008, 2009, Obama was taking to these podiums and saying things. And it was like a big revelation for me. I mean, 2008, we're pushing almost 20 years, almost. Okay, I came to the conclusion early on in the Obama administration, what he was saying, that they basically know they can make up anything and people will just believe it. He was just saying nonsense about things that had no basis. He just was making it up, well, other than the cue cards that he was told to read. And I thought it was a big revelation. I thought they can, and it seems like common sense now because of what we know, but this was a big deal back then. There's just can say anything. They're making it all up, and that there no longer needs to be any sort of a basis behind what they're saying, any sort of truth. And we know that's just been exacerbated at this point. You need dead instruments to grow the economy. The growth is the new train track being laid in front of a runaway train that's out of control. It can't be reduced. And the politicians don't even understand this. They know nothing, these morons, like we talked about recently. They know nothing. So other than 10, like I talked about, 10 people in the Senate know a little bit about how fraudulent everything is. Everybody else is just worried about their next election. And that you have the permanent government in the deep state, and then you have the elected puppets and the people that take the podiums and they believe in all of this nonsense. They believe we have to tighten our fiscal belts and reduce the debt. They're that stupid. They are absolutely not in any way in the know. Phoenix and other parts of Arizona were hit with a really nasty dust and sandstorm. Let me just tell you the first thing I thought about when I saw this giant wall of dust and sand coming towards the plains. Yeah, this won't even cause a future accident. We'll get into that in a moment. For about an hour, the Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport had a ground stop preventing any planes from leaving or landing as a cloud of dust seemed ready to swallow up the facility. And there's sand in it and there's grit in it. The airport was experiencing up to 30-minute delays late Monday night while crews assessed any damage or roof leaks. Airport spokesman person said, blah, blah, blah. So this giant wall of, did you ever see that scene in The Scorpion King where the Rock is over, when he's riding on the camel and the damn dust? It was like that. And then, of course, did they all rush out there and put the little covers over the engines? They must have, right? They must have. But what was one engine, maybe not covered perfectly? Did this cause any sort of an issue? Grit, you can get grit. Matt, there's no moving parts. There's no moving parts. It doesn't take any gasoline. Once it gets to altitude, there's no moving parts. There's no gasoline. There's no jet fuel. I don't know. Did all the degenerates that work at the Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport put down their crack vials and their crack pipes and run out before the sandstorm got there and cover all the engines up perfectly with little engine covers, the way one would say use a car cover with a hailstorm coming? I mean, and did they get it perfect so there's not going to be any grit, sand, or dust issues? I mean, it just doesn't. I don't want to turn this into a giant video about, at least in North America, no major crashes in 40-some years. Don't tell me, we just looked at the strange circumstances in India. We looked at that about 6 or 7 months ago, and some of the internet. I don't care what happened internationally. I'm not there to confirm it. I mean, I'm not saying India looked the most legitimate we've seen in a long time, but there still was some strange issues with it. So, I don't know I guess you guys have heard me, old guards heard me talk about this 5, 6 times, 7 times over the last 8 years and do whole videos on it. But I think we're pushing 250 million flights without a major, not 20,000 flights. That would be quite a safety record. 250 million flights, it's something ridiculous in the United States and Canada without a major, and I'm not talking about a small issue where 1 or 2 people here or there. I'm talking about, a 15,000 foot nosedive with a crew and passengers of over 200 people. It just, I don't know, it's 40 years, 45 years. It just doesn't. It's a reality breakdown, is what it is. Every time I put this forth, somebody in the comments, it's laughable, will always tell me about computers that are expert at safety and new safety Come on. It doesn't, if everything was done perfectly by everyone and not one person that maintains the aircraft engines on the ground was a crack addict with a crack pipe in his back pants pocket. And they were all, the one guy just didn't break up with his girlfriend, so he's thinking about driving up to the Golden Gate Bridge, and you know what? Hopefully they installed the Foxconn nets. There's people that just don't give a shit. There's people. Not everyone's doing their job to the 10 out of 10 on the sliding scale. It never, no matter what, it just doesn't ever catch up and lead to anything that could become an accident or a major crash. Can people will tell me about safety procedures? There's 20,000 people in the airline industry don't give a shit, or they just had a bad night. You understand? What does it matter what protocols in place or what the little booklet says to do or whatever they have to report on the paperwork that they fake when they put their crack pipe away? Look at this I just came across. A wave of active shooter hoaxes at universities brings panic and turmoil to the start of the school year. That was a news headline that I just read. We're not doing what we used to do in the old days with Russian vids, but look, they have to tell you the truth. Look, a wave of active shooter hoaxes at universities brings panic and turmoil. So they're telling you that whenever they use the word, potentially every time they've ever used the word active shooter, it's attached, see, it's right, the word right after, it's hoax. A wave of active shooter hoaxes. So the word hoax is attached to the word active shooter, which to me means almost every time they've ever used it in the past, or maybe every time, it was a hoax. I'm not joking. This is how they tell you. It's definitely terrible. Carlos Alcatraz's buzz cut raises eyebrows at the U.S. Open. He shaved, he had this thick head of hair. He's a Spaniard. It's hot. He shaved it off, but it's definitely terrible. That's insulting to me. That's what my head looks like, but there's a bunch of bald spots. His is thick and will grow right back in. You're saying his is definitely terrible? What does that make me feel like when I look in the mirror? That's what I look like, but with a bunch of bald spots, especially atop the crown. It's called male pattern baldness. It started to happen to me when I was in college, I think. It wasn't noticeable. There was a bunch of hairs in the pillow. There was a bunch of hairs in the bed. And my girlfriend was like, ew, are you going bald? I was like, no, there's no way I'm going bald. We brought a dog in here last. Those hairs are from a dog. No, it's definitely terrible. How does that make me feel? And the 40 million bald men, you better think before you create a headline like this. Look at this. Just acting on its own, this false reality is comedy gold. I don't have to do anything, but just read it. Man named after Babe Ruth, charged with fraud, used baseball players' names in claims. A man sharing the same name as New York Yankees icon Babe Ruth reportedly used the names of former professional baseball players to make fraudulent claims for payouts in class action settlements. What? What class action settlement payout was Babe Ruth in line to get in the 20s? What wouldn't he have used a modern day baseball player name? Even use something at least from the 70s like Mike Schmidt or Ricky Henderson? Why do you have to go back to the 20s?
Hello?
Oh yes, hi. Is this the law firm of Dewey, Cheatham and Howe? Oh, it is. Great. You're responsible for the payouts to claimants for the class action suit against the cigarette manufacturers roughly 20 years ago, a $280 billion settlement. Oh, great. I'm in the right place. I'm a claimant, and I haven't received my money or any checks for a long, long time. You owe me quite a bit of money, and I'm still smoking Camels. I started in 1913 when they came out. What? My name is Babe Ruth. No, I'm not dead. Babe Ruth, you're the baseball player. Yes, the Babe Ruth. I've been smoking Camels since they were created and invented in 1913, and I'm still smoking them. Go look at some pictures of me at the plate for the New York Yankees. Half of my at-bats, I had a Camel cigarette in my mouth. Now I want my money. What? Hello? I should have used... In my fraud, I should have used a more modern baseball player like Hideki Matsutaneki. What the? No, this is Babe Ruth. Come back. According to the Associated Press, a 69-year-old man from Tennessee named George Herman Ruth, that's the Babe, was charged with 9 91 counts. It just can't help itself. The 69 with the 90, it just can't help itself. 91 counts in an indictment handed down in U.S. District Court on August 12th. 91. Why not just go for 7,000 counts? He was charged with mail fraud, aggravated identity theft. Identity theft for a man that's been in the grave for 80 years, Babe Ruth, fraudulent use of Social Security numbers, money laundering, making false statements to his probation officer, and possessing firearms after having previously been convicted of felonies. The probation officer just kind of looked the other way whenever this guy would sign a baseball. Ruth opened more than a dozen P.O. boxes in several cities. That's all. What is this, Andy Dufresne doing all his fraud by mail on behalf of Warden Norton? He said to Morgan Freeman, he said, you'd be surprised what you can accomplish by mail. In this day and age of the internet, he's opening P.O. boxes? Is that all you have to do? Does Andy Dufresne's tactics still work today? Let's just open a bunch of P.O. boxes and we can get rich. And submitted, quote, hundreds of false claim forms to several different class action administrators while using the names of retired baseball players. Well, the guy wasn't very bright. If anything, pick names from the 50s and 60s, not people that have been dead. What's your next fraud? Who are you? Ty Cobb. Who are you? Shoeless Joe Jackson. This guy was a freaking idiot. Thanks for listening.